This game isn't about winning, it's about the feeling and the atmosphere. Hello, I am the Jagged Wizard, and today I'm going to be talking about Call of Cthulhu. So, a little bit ago, a couple friends and I got together, sat down, and played through the Quickstart guide of Call of Cthulhu. And for those of you that don't know, a Quickstart guide is a short primer of the rules, any rules necessary to play, and a short adventure generally. So my friends and I sat down, we had pre-made characters from the Quick Start guide. We played for about 2.5 hours and finished up a one-shot. Call of Cthulhu is an awesome system. Chaosium uses a D100 system. All you really need to know before playing is that you need a D100 and you're trying to roll as low as possible. That's something that makes it really easy to just pick up and play. It's a skill-based game, so you don't have any level progression or anything like that. You just have skills. If you're good at them, you're more likely to succeed. And Call of Cthulhu is a horror tabletop role-playing game. And it's based heavily on the works of H.P. Lovecraft and other fantasy/horror writers of the early 20th century. It does a really good job of leaning into that jazz age feel and that just hint of something being wrong underneath everything all the time. And I love that. Another thing about this game is that the skills are something that grow as you use them. It reminds me of how Skyrim uses their skills, where the more you use that skill, the more it builds up. And so after every adventure, any skills you've used, you have the chance to have those grow. The less skilled you are at something, the more likely you are to grow that skill. And as you become better and better at something, it becomes harder and harder to have that skill grow. And I really like that, and I like that you have the opportunity to use skills and have those grow with you. So my friends and I played through the short adventure. It's called The Haunting. And the entire premise is that the investigators are told to check out a supposedly haunted house. Something I love about these adventures is that there is no clear path. The players, if they really want to, can not investigate at all, which is kind of counterintuitive because they're called investigators. But they have that choice. I don't think it's the recommended choice. I think the system itself and the way the adventures are written are really good at promoting characters checking out any possible dead ends and figuring out what is really going on with whatever the situation is before they actually have to deal with it head on. And I really like that. I love the investigation in this game. I love its focus on it, that the players aren't forced to go check anything out, but the more they do check stuff out, the more they investigate. If they check public records or if they check into like the computer databases, like they are more likely to gain information that will help them as they investigate and to connect all of those dots. And I really like that. It was very fun as a GM, or keeper as they're known in this game, to watch my players try and figure out all of the puzzle pieces and figure out what is actually going on in this house. And to be fair, even to this day, I don't know if the characters really know what was going on in that house, but I don't think that's the point. And I love that about this game, is that it forces the players to think for themselves and to try and figure out what really is going on underneath it all. And I love that. I love the focus on investigation in this game. Another thing is there is combat in this game, and it's a very simple combat system. Again, this game is very rules light, incredibly rules light. So when you start combat, you get one action per turn, and you can attack or cast a spell if you have spells, or I'm not actually really sure. You can attack is mostly what the players and I did on our turn. It's a very simple system and it's very easy to understand. You either hit or miss, and then you roll, a d6 or a d4 or something like that for damage. Another thing I like about this system is that there are insanities. Like I mentioned in my video from last week, I like it when characters are given difficult things to deal with, and I love watching characters roleplay that. So if they're given an insanity like a phobia or something, I love seeing how players lean into the weaknesses that gives that phobia or whatever will give their characters. And I really like how this system promotes that. Like, this game isn't about winning, it's about the feeling and the atmosphere, and that's something I love. As a GM, I was getting spooked by what was going on in the house, and I knew exactly what was going on. I was orchestrating it, but the fact that it gave me a little bit of a spook says a lot about the system and a lot about how the adventures are written. I think the adventures are written very well and help. And this may have been because it was the Quickstart adventure. I don't know if the adventures are as helpful as this one, but it walks you through how to create that atmosphere and what little things you can do to make it a little bit more spooky. And I love that. I think the adventures are written very well towards creating that atmosphere of a little bit of fear. And that's something that for me was very impressive, because I've never really been spooked by playing a role-playing game, like, ever. And the fact that Call of Cthulhu did that when I was running it was very impressive. I really enjoyed the system. I think it's a great system for new players. It doesn't require very much. It just requires some talking, is really what it is that you're talking through this adventure. The players will talk through the investigation with each other, and eventually it'll probably come to some sort of confrontation. At least from all of the adventures I've listened to and or read, is that there's usually some sort of entity behind everything, and being able to deal with that. And if your character survives, they survive, and if not, you had a good story. And I love that about this game, is it's not about your character surviving. I honestly don't think the game cares at all if your characters survive. I think the game cares that you felt the atmosphere and that you felt that chill running down your spine, and I love that. If you want to check out the system, I would highly recommend the Quickstart guide. I think it's perfect. It comes with 4 pre-generated characters, so you don't have to figure out how to make a character, but you will end a free short adventure that I think is well worth sinking your teeth into. I don't know if it's really long enough to sink your teeth into. It's a great module, and I think it walks you through how to run it as a keeper really, really well. I'll include links to the Quickstart guide as well as the Keeper and Investigator's handbooks, the 2 main rule books of Call of Cthulhu, down below. And if you've enjoyed this content, if you want to hear more about Call of Cthulhu, let me know. And if you have some experience playing Call of Cthulhu, maybe if you know if the later or other adventures are as helpful as this one, please comment below, because I would really like to know, because I would be very interested in picking up another one if they're as well written. If you've enjoyed this content, please leave a like. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.